live, but oh my god, it's live. Okay. Duh. Okay, so welcome to the first live. There's nobody there. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Maybe I should schedule this. Okay. Oh, it's really slow. Okay. All right. So, is there a delay? Can you see me, Papa? Oh, it's really slow. Okay. Okay. Is there a delay? Can you see me, Papa? Oh shit.
Those of you that have been watching my channel for a while know.
Okay. Okay. So I'm watching myself. Okay. So I'm watching myself. Okay. Interesting. Okay, nobody here. Okay, thank you for watching. There's nobody here. Interesting. Okay, nobody here. Okay, thank you for watching. How about we open up the game? Oh, cheers! Hey, I got a viewer. Nice to see you, man. No, glad to hear you're enjoying the game. Oh wait, I've got feedback on this. Oh man, I'm just testing out the hardware for streaming stuff. I thought, well, it's time to do this. Didn't realize someone. I it's the idea that someone comes on. Okay. Let's see how this all works. I got too many shits open. Sign into chat. All right. As you can tell, it's my first time, and I'm taking a little break from development at the moment. Well, not a little bit. I've been working on. I can show you. Been working on creating some new units. But it's been. I was just tired after the evolution update and doing all the bug fixing. So doing this kind of stuff helps me re-energize. Basically, you can't do hardcore dev every day for years, and then at some point you need a break. So, but I'm slowly starting up work on development of Bulwark again. I was doing, well, maybe I can stream that. Let's see how I could do that. I was working on this. OBS. No. Oh yeah, here, guys. So look. One of the things I want to do is, as long as there's one person here, is add some new units to the game for mercenary clans or mercenary guilds. I haven't figured out a name. So I added another small pirate blimp, and those I want to add as special ships you can basically buy instead of, so you fly somewhere and you buy units instead of having to have a commander and stuff. Basically, so you can get up and running faster, and then of course if they're hostile clans, they also become enemies, so that there's a bit more combat in the world. And that all fits with the Edge stuff. I don't know if you've seen the Edge, how do you call it, preview stuff I shared on the Discord or even in Steam. So that's what I've been working on. Let's see if I... So do you have any questions? I don't know. I need to get into this streaming stuff. Let me go back to my... Oh, that's smooth. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun little update. But it requires a lot more... well, I can show off. We'll do a little development stream. That's sort of fun. Let's see if I can go back and game scene. So running up Unity. I've also a strange question, but I've been a couple of weeks ago. I did a bunch of performance updates. Have you noticed the game running better, or it's just the same? While Unity slowly runs. Oh, there's 4 people watching now. Oh my god. I can't believe it. No, well, we'll make this a little dev update while I test my streaming hardware. And you can see, this is how long it bloody takes to load up Unity. Yeah, their own trade routes. So, okay, that's a good question. Will they have their own trade ships and routes we can raid? There are some... there are random patrols already in the world. And they ramp up as the game progresses. I can show them to you. So here we're in Unity. So there's these, but they're defensive patrols. So sometimes you'll see a defensive Mancer or bannerless or Imperial ship, and they'll fight you if you're hostile to them. So I did add that. I don't know when. I think before in one of the updates. So I could add trade ships to that. That actually is not a bad idea. The system is there for there. Might add that in the next update because it's a simple.
Several Imperial remnants.
So yeah, well, why not? Actually, if people like that. Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's you're not gonna have a lot of difference in performance in how do you call it?
Warlords have banded
So
together. Get
when we
ready
go
to
to the
become
worlds, let's see if I can. Actually, I think how it runs now. If I can go ship parents, no. There is something here that goes ships active. So as the game progresses, it'll activate these other ships. I actually think ship inventory. No, that's not it. Pool enemies. Where did I put them? Free roaming ships. Excellent. Let's get out of the map. And then every 100 seconds it'll add one more, and you can see them popping up on the left. That's the list of everything that's in the world, and it just activates all these ships. So now, and I don't know. The reason I only have a few. So here is one of the dreadnoughts. I don't know where it is on the map. Let's have a look. This is how the world looks. It's somewhere up north, near Northgate, I guess. And then it starts to set off. So that's one of the... so that's literally one of the ships doing its things. And it'll sail off and you can encounter it. Funnily, Northgate isn't there, so for performance reasons. So this is one of the things what makes the game have a lot of limits. Where I can't do everything. Because I don't have a Minecraft level engineering team. I have to unload all the settlements when you're not near them. So this is actually Northgate. But when I would... can I get up there? I am at war with these fuckers. And let's see. So that boat should be somewhere up here.
Buildings on the horizon.
So I think this is the latest version of the Maw I have, which is the Maw graphics. I'm still twiddling them. Let's see if we can get up there while I talk. I have a pretty beefy rig myself, so it's I have a small PC in the living room I test on, but that always seems to be running about 40, 50 FPS, which is annoying. At 4K though, so I think it's okay for an Intel NUC with a 2060, should be fine. I think, but you saw how long it took to load Unity and load up the project. So this I've got like a Alienware, all the latest ones with the fucked Intel CPU. It's still not fast enough to develop fast. Let's see if I can find that ship. So we zoom out. So this is, you can actually see. So I'm here. So that's the surveyor, and it has the skybox around it. And as I'm slowly traversing towards, and it will load probably. So here's Imperial Peak. You literally saw the units got spawned in there. So everything spawns in as you approach. It'll likely stay around, but the units will despawn if you're not in a fight. So what we were looking for, this boat, right? And you can see, so what's happening here is this the low quality ocean from very far away. So it's actually, so it's heading there. It's taking a left route past. So if we could see it, just for fun, I have to test this anyway.
Can build a wood mill here. Build it
think.
and attract craftspeople and
Oh, it's all the way. Is it there already?
Could be with this
Yeah, okay.
could be
So they do pop up on the map. See the little red icon? So there's an angry ship there, which is likely that Imperial
The
dreadnought.
diplomatic envoy has arrived.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I think some of the audio for the little weavers might be too loud. Let's see if we can... there's actually 2 Imperial ships. So, yeah, I can add trade ships in there. But then I think I'd need to up the reward a little bit. So that if you sink them, you get more credit. So I actually haven't checked. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's that dreadnought. So let's fucking... Is he shooting at me? Okay. Needs to be beefed up. And you get a little bit of splinters.
A hard-won bit of good news.
Not a terrible lot. 200 bucks. So that's actually in there.
The enemy has leveled an extractor. We need
Battleship type surveyors. Okay. So I am for the next update. So like, people have asked for more beefy, and I'm actually running this this Imperial. I forget what it's called. That's actually a decently beefed up surveyor. It's got quite a good set of guns. But I think if I give her a playable proper battleship, yeah, it might be fun, but it disbalances because then you don't need the other units. Because you could, but this has 4 guns. I think it has 1 2-point defenses. Nothing at the bottom. It's a solid fighting ship. But like a heavy fighting ship, I have been thinking of adding that as a buyable unit as part of your fleet, like a unique. So you go to one of these mercenary clans, which is just like a settlement, like these guys here, but then they have a different menu where you can buy units. And that's also why I made this new system. Is that's also required for a shop preview. And why I changed the shaders, because they can't be in the world, because they need to be independent of lighting and stuff. So that they all will look the same at whatever time. But so I'm thinking of adding a few heavy battleship, but like the Questor and like I don't know, do I have anything better? Like the big airships we already have. Maybe I add one that has some heavy guns, or maybe a missile cruiser. Yeah, especially exactly that. So a special unit that's expensive. You can't easily buy new ones. And I'm thinking that these mercenary clans would work in a way that you had to defeat them every time you find them. So they're like, you know, there would be a free house. I'm gonna turn on the music of the game. There would be like a free house mercenary buying thing in the center world that only sells, you know, some base units. So, you know, just some boring warbirds, just where you can spend some money and get some of the type you like. And then second to that would be these mercenary, like the Bannerless and Freebooter clans, or might even use that Tree Watch guys, who are the violent mancers in the corner. And they're always angry, and then you defeat them, and then they'll go, all right, we'll sell you one of our ships. And then you can interact. And if you come back later, you still have to fight him. Because I think people want a little bit more combat in the world, a little bit more challenge. It'll be fun just to fuck around and, how do you call it? Have to do something. It becomes a little bit more minimal, and then the reward is getting a really nice big airship that's fairly unique, and that's also a unique enemy then. I also want to do that for the freebooters, and they have units which sometimes appear in the game, like the Murinal, which is the flying eel, and the manta ray, which barely... what did I shoot? Doesn't matter. Which barely appears in the game, and have those be buyable as well. So there's gonna be new units which you can't have at all right now from the freebooter stuff. So that's my idea, is to have these 3 settlements, and they'll sell these unique units, and there'll be a general seller where you can buy a generic unit. And you also sell your units, because there's this unit cap. The unit cap, and that's because, well, I can show you in the profiler. If I can, let me see. Can you see this? Oh, that's not what. Can you see this? So animation. So if we go to this is called a profiler. So I'm looking at a lot of animated units, and that means the profiler is actually taking up a significant amount of the, not the pro lighter, but the animation cost is within the entire it's not even a millisecond, because I recently optimized it, but it's part of the cost, and once you ramp up that, you get larger costs, especially on slower machines, where skinning, which is making the animated characters displays, skinning, it's literally called skinning. So animated characters, where the mesh is deformed because it's a character, is quite expensive. So I have a lot of them. So in that sense, there's an actual unit cap, is just a performance cap, because this game also has to run on console, but also Steam Deck. So I can't have different unit caps for different platforms, because that's too difficult to maintain for one person. So hence it's 50 right now. I might turn it up to 80, because people really like having large armies. Definitely confirm that in the chat if you're into large armies, and if I should raise the unit cap, because then you can buy more units, and that's fun. For the next update, I do want to add, because the Freehouse as an option don't have their own top tier architecture. Like if I go to whatever I'm building. Oh, let me turn on some of the stuff. The Freehouse don't have these. Let's see if I can find an example. They don't have these top tier buildings. It's fun being in. Maybe so. This is how I work actually. So these buildings, you see where my mouse is at. I don't have too many here because it's a lot of Freehouse stuff. Oh, I can have one. The Freehouse doesn't have any, so I want to add those as well, so that they have their own top tier. If you have a very Freehouse, how do you call it? Settlement, then you'll get some more architecture, some more building spawn, which is fine. This is the edge, by the way, as I'm working on it. So this is literally the edge of the map. It's pretty big. So as you can see, I'm adding new land masses across the game, up and down. I'll fill out these entire edges, and you could technically go around in a circle, but that's above the map. I still want the world to be big enough that there's you know, stuff to find, which isn't the edge, and it might not be a circle, it might not be a flat Earth, but it leaves a little bit more to the imagination. It just could be a giant, how do you call it? Mall-like structure, but we can see the stars down here, which took a lot of work. So it's. I thought it was just visually fun, and it's interesting. From I think if you're designing your city, it's more satisfying to have a really unique spot like this. So I hope it draws a lot more people to the game. Oh, Bulwark 2. I have to translate that in English. What you're saying. Let me translate that. Edit.com. Translate. Auto-detect. Bulwark 2. So Bulwark 2, Joji, I think I'm probably butchering your name, is asking if we can have a Bulwark 2. So Bulwark 2. Oh well, let me show you. Before I get into, let me show you one thing that is a secret side project, which I don't know if it ever happens because it has a lot of issues. But I want to show you something secret because that's always fun. I have to find it. Where did I put it? Okay, so. And then we go. Did I break it again? I hope not. Oh, it's breaking. Ah, cock. Want to show you something? Give me a second. It's yeah. Okay, so apparently remove this, remove this. I didn't save the work I did. Oh, that would be bad. Shit. Sometimes you revert stuff and then you forgot you made something. And then you fuck it. So I might not be able to show it, but give me a second here. Let's see if I can... Yes. And I'll get into the sequel and then you can... I'll show you this and then you can get an idea of... oh, it's actually not... Okay. Jesus, Flyer School. Go delete yourself. Well, I have to open some code, sorry. Okay, so... freaking... Let me turn that off. Does it work? No. Okay. God damn it. So this is when you develop something, you're basically all day rebooting the game 1,000 times, then an error pops up. A game dev in itself, there are more fun ways to make a living. I do enjoy it, but so to remove that. When it works, it's great, but there's a lot of tedium involved. So it's booting up again. Oh, I did. If anybody noticed, I think in the last updates of Steam a couple of weeks ago, loading time should be way faster than we were before. I think I sliced loading of the game in half. Okay, so let's see if I can fucking do it again. No errors. Okay. Disable this. No. Okay. Let me. I gotta hook up my controller. You can already see what it is. I don't think I have mouse support. Do I have mouse support? Oh yeah. So look, it's now hooked up to the keyboard. So yeah, it's not. It's some old code from the Falconeer. It doesn't entirely work yet. I don't know what that was. But people that play the Falconeer go, oh, he finally did it. So I can't. I have to. I can see if I can maybe move the entire bird up to my settlement, but it seems to have. That seems to generally break shit. Okay, where's my base? Is it somewhere around here? Will this work? Oh no, I don't know. I am somewhere. Where am I on the map? Oh, I fucked it up again. So like I see, it's just an experiment. I have to. I haven't coded it. It's just something I manually have to turn off. So it's like it's competing cameras at the moment. I have to literally turn off stuff. Where am I? So I'm trying to find out where I moved. So let's put on back on the edge. So here's the edge. And there should be... So this is that edge where we were, but I don't know where my city went. But I haven't actually tried this myself. That's funny you say that. I would like to, I would like to play the first Blame game, but in this game. And I understand that because the cities here are more interesting. The quality of the stuff is better. Let's see if I can. So yeah, I get that, and I have the same. I'm trying to find if I can fly up to a city if it maintains itself. I think it must be on the other side. Oh yeah, it was there. So move the player. Let's see if we can. Okay, where? I want to see my city. There it is. Actually need to make the bird faster. Said everybody who ever played the Falconeer. I can't do the boosting because I haven't put those controls in. And it's probably... the problem is it's completely fucked. So I can't control the camera. All of that doesn't work because it's conflicting with the Bulwark camera. But it is much... Oh, shit. Actually getting fired on. So some of the stuff is still... It's still... I can't fire. I can't target anything. Because the targeting systems are... So, but it is interesting that it sort of holds up. I don't think it looks super great from this angle. Actually... that's actually... okay, so to reboot the game now. So you gotta... So... If in an ideal world, talking about a sequel, let's see if I can go to OBS for a second, because I'm actually... So, you can do a lot of stuff with the edge and the bird. So the for a sequel, so one of the things is at some point I want to release that flying around in Bulwark as just a fun edit. What happens when I do that is before I get into the sequel. So bear with me. With what's if I add this back into Bulwark, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to add secondary key bindings to make it work again. I'm going to have to adapt all the enemy targeting and intelligence system to work. It sort of works with your bird. Then you need to shoot and then you need to target stuff. But there's a lot more targets in Bulwark, so that system will flip out because there's turrets everywhere. Because it's two different games. So there is a huge block. And for instance, it will break certification on consoles when I add the bird in. Because I have those secondary key bindings. So it needs to go through certification because it's an entirely secondary control scheme with controller. So it's I literally don't have the time and money to invest in putting that in Bulwark. So if it happens, it's just a fun little thing that goes in for Steam only. Because Steam is the platform I manage myself. And that's just like the VR I did for the Falconeer. I can do that on Steam because Steam is nice to fuck around with. And I don't get checked on language. Like a Manor Lords like view. So that's my idea. Is I might keep it just like flying around. You don't get to interact, shoot. You don't even get the camera that rotates because I can't get the camera system to work together. because that's actually the Falconeer camera is substantially different than the Bulwark camera, and they need to be merged. But yeah, it's fun. So for a sequel, so now you've seen that. So the sequel pitch I have, it's not commercially viable, but it's the game I maybe one day, if I had a team and a lot of money, which I would like to make, is imagine going to, well, all of you hopefully played the, how do you call it, the game. You've seen the Stargate, so you've seen the. I'm gonna move the chat here. Ugh, OBS is sorry. Give me a sec. Okay, well, whatever. So imagine this: the people of the Ursea in the lore of Bulwark, a lot of people left that plane of existence, that planet or whatever the Ursea is, the pocket universe, and they moved off through the Stargate to this other world, this desert world, which you can somewhat with the train that comes out of Stargate. That's an entirely new place, and a lot of people lost family that moved to this new existence. So you got a dry and a wet world basically connected. Well, the connection was severed. Someone blew up the Stargate, and the people in the Ursea are cut off again from their kin in the other world. So logically, a sequel to the Falconeer and to Bulwark would be to move to this new dry world, this world where, in the lore, and I've pitched this a few times, it's a desert or more like a canyon world, and it's filled with train tracks, abandoned train tracks, abandoned substations, abandoned, well, not cities, but abandoned mesas full of switching stations and junctions. So it's an abandoned rail world. So you can see where this is going. You replace ships with trains, battle trains. And the story would be, you would be a set of survivors, perhaps maybe even, the old emperors, whatever, but just a ragtag group with your own little battle train, and you're alone in this world, unaffiliated. The Mancer got through, the Imperial, all that shit, all these ancient grudges are there. There's clearly used to the people live here, but they're all gone. There's a mystery there. There's their own caches of technology and stuff to find. And you're in your little battle train with a Falconeer, with a couple of Falcons, trying to survive and find a new home for your people. And any stragglers and, refugees you find along the way. So the story would be a mix between Bulwark and the Falconeer. So your interaction is moving the train across the map to different destinations where you'll find challenges, people, settlers, if you will, in order to find your own freehold, your own little house, and then you build up that freehold. Maybe something quite similar to Bulwark, but you're literally earning all the resources and protecting it from the bad guys. It's a more classical story, and in the meantime, you have these people that live in how do you call us? That live in the train. So you would have a classical, how do you call it? Action adventure setup with a hub world where you're in your locomotive, people are hanging out, the cook is making food, there's some other Falconeers, whoever you hire and find along the way. And you can have little sort of dialogue sessions. So it's a lot more classical. What people I think Snowpiercer trains, fuck yeah. That definitely that look. So yeah, you have your battle train that grows. You're trying to find and build up maybe your own little freehold community, and you interact with the people, the other settlers, and of course there's going to be bad guys. And I may make it more classical, that you start off just being hunted by both the Imperials and the Mancer, because maybe you got something, but it doesn't matter. So that is a huge undertaking for a sequel. It could also be just a straight Bulwark sequel, because let's be honest, as a Steam selling game, Bulwark is much more popular than the Falconeer. The Falconeer, you can see that the user reviews, even though the Falconeer is great has done it's 8 million installs on Epic and Game Pass, and it's because it's a very unique game. There's not a lot of flying games, but people want there's a niche of people that like flying games. So all these streaming services, they don't have an actiony flying game, and Falconeer fit the bill. So it did well on that, but on Steam it's not super successful. Sadly, it's a couple of hundred user reviews. Bulwark's done a lot better, but I make you've all played very experimental games. You need to get through some, I like making minimalist, different fucking UIs and control schemes. So it's like people say, you got, the guy at Eurogames, you always got to work a little bit to play Thomas Sala game. So my games, and that's how I make games, because that's fun to do, and that keeps me going. So I'll never be able to make a completely slick Game of the Year style game. I think the Falconeer less because it was I think the Falconeer had a lot more marketing and a lot more popularity. It was a launch title on the Series X. And Bulwark was indeed intended to be a much more more popular game from the start. City builders are just more popular. And I was able to leverage the marketing a lot better. And that's absolutely true. But there's actually a lot more game critic reviews, a lot more of the Falconeer than there were of Bulwark. Bulwark doesn't have a lot of commercial, how do you call it, press reviews. Well, thank you. The lag is pretty bad, but I just read the Game of the Year comment. Well, I'm glad. I had a discussion with Simon Carlos, who runs Game Discovery Company, who is like a consultant and a Discord and a newsletter about Steam and how to be successful and use game data. And the interesting thing about Bulwark is that all the user reviews are like 8 hours in or 12 hours in. There's people that hate it after 30 minutes, sure. But most of the reviews are people are really dedicated to put a lot of hours into the game. And that's apparently fairly exceptional. So in that sense, Bulwark is a more viable property to make a sequel to. But even if I don't add the flying around Falconeer bits, so that's a dream to have all these bits, but I think it's too much for one person, and I don't have the money to start up a studio again. I don't know if it want to, but maybe. But the world of game dev, it's just we're all earning half of what we were earning 10 years ago. So I make good money. You don't have to worry about me, but it's not. I don't have a pension or there's no escape hatch and there's no millions on my account. So I'm just living the good life, being free, and can support my family. And we have a nice 17-year-old car, but we have a nice garden, and so it's all good. But running, I can't invest $1 million to set up a studio, or let alone the couple of millions that would do to make that sequel, where you combine Bulwark, the Falconeer, into this sort of action adventure-y stuff. But I'm trying to get there step by step. So a logical Bulwark sequel will also happen in that dry world, and it will add trains. So I can imagine Bulwark working, because the logistics system is very too casual now. I can imagine a version of Bulwark where the logistic challenge is a lot more not Factorio-esque, but a lot more challenging. It's just tweaked better, and you have to purchase all the upgrades to your city instead of you get free build for free. I can tune that to be a more challenging game, and then set with trains. Cheers, man. I think that I am super happy with where I'm at now. I've got this universe that people love. I keep making really experimental, original games. So I think I've proven that I'm not a flash in the pan. The Falconeer was really original, people found. Bulwark, I think, is a technically excellent, original, innovative game. I don't think you can find anything like it. It has ideas of other games, but there's not. So I'm really proud of, and I'm happy, where I'm doing. Like now, I can take a month. I've been chilling for a month, or chilling just doing other stuff. Yeah, well, so yeah, I think making something challenging again is also I'm interested in. I think people want that. I think the casual thing was a nice experiment, and I don't ever want to make grindy, difficult games. So you won't ever get a Factorio out of me. But something that's more balanced, I think, would have been better. So, but I just get interested, and then I have to explore making a grind-free game, and yeah, new shit happens. For the next game, now that we're talking, uh, I added the sailing with the little surveyor boat, how do you call it, command flagship, for the evolution update as a little extra, because I had that code from when I started Bulwark. You had a surveyor and a surface flagship. It was there from the, but I people got confused during the demo already. So during user testing, like okay, I'll leave it out because it's too much. Where you can fly around and you can sail around, and the sailing around had all kinds of work that need to be done. So I did that for the evolution update. I really like it. I don't like it as an addition to Bulwark because it's a fun addition, but it's not much more. But the sensation of sailing around on the world, on the wave system, having boats follow you, sailing around your own set. I find, and try it if you haven't. Try to unlock the Freehouse Naval Command Center, and then you get that boat, and you can switch to it using the, how do you call it? The switch to service command, basically. You try it, and then you sail around your own settlement. I enjoy doing it. And you build something, and it just looks so much more epic. You know, the cameras. Thank you. I love Tiny Glide. It's amazing. It's their own engine. If you have any idea how fucking difficult that is, they make their own engine to be able to make tiny glades. Like, and people also, who are the people that blow your brain? Tiny guy, the tiny glade. It's a man and a woman, I think, both a team. It's like really good, technically, really, really special. But so sailing around, the next game, I think I'm there that I've decided that if I make a next game, I wanna have a game in the Bulwark in the Oersea universe. I've made one flying around. I've made one on the ground where you make cities, and I'll make one where you sail around. And it would be me, and I would add that because I have those generated faces, and I've improved a lot since the Falconeer. They look a lot more better. The lip syncing is better. I want to do a full body and a system for that, where I can have full body characters to interact with, so that you're sailing around, and it's more like an FTL type game, I think, but not a dredge like. But people go, oh, like a dredge, a little bit, but more maybe a more sunless skies or sunless seas. I think you sail around and you do sailing jobs like wreck diving or salvaging or piloting other ships upriver and stuff like that, and it would be set in the past. So in a cycle of the Oersea where it was still very dry, and there's trees, and it's a more beautiful version of the world, and then you see it all to go to shit. So maybe how the Maw got created and how it became an ocean world. And then you're sailing around. I think that'll be the third game. It'll be more like you're sailing around. It's fairly chill. But you can go downstairs, maybe not third person, but you can click on the cook and have a conversation with the cook about what's going on, or have a conversation with the first mate or the harbor master or an inn, and have proper dialogue trees, or maybe something simple. I can't make Baldur's Gate, but a more human scale adventure. I think if I have those three those three games. The Falconeer, Bulwark, and Ancient Waves, I think that's the title, where you sail around. I think I'll have achieved a really special type of trilogy. So I think I'll do that before I go making sequels to Bulwark, because I think Bulwark deserves a sequel that's more befitting. I think, okay, so lore question. Would be an answer from Warburg. I think that depends on the faction you have. So the factions, each faction is a theme for how you deal with conflict in the Falconeer. So the core mythology of the Falconeer is this post-human family, Oberon and his kids, and the dad left. So and each of the kids responds in a very classical way to that abandonment. One becomes a nihilist and depressed. That's becomes and he moves away from the world. One becomes aggressively defending his dad, wants to be like his dad. He's the one that actually kills the other one or attempts to. And then there's a sister who just pretends nothing is wrong and builds keeps the household running. Those are classic ways of dealing with such a situation. And from that, I extrapolated each faction. So that's the freebooter, the monster, and the Imperials. So each of these factions have their own way of dealing something, with the Imperials being, pragmatists to the bitter end. And they have good reasons to do so. Everybody has good... the freebooters, they've gone, this is all fucked up, we're going away. They just want to left in peace, which is a valid, but it's not very communicative or dealing with your issues. And the Mancer want to recreate, they have a daddy issues. So I think the progression, each of these, and the Bannerless, or the pirates in the first game, they're just everybody that don't want to play wrong with this bullshit. They're actually the most healthy faction, because they say, this is bullshit, you're all stuck, we're not going to participate. So I think each of these factions would have their own progression system. I think the Imperials might have a very classical cast. Well, I think that it's a well. If you read if you had all these the priestess, the shaman, temple lore, she describes all of this, and it's about people unable to change, because that's very hard when you're stuck. You can't change, and when you need to change, because life sometimes fucks you up, and then you have to change, and it becomes violent. So that's the theme for the Falconeer, and daddy issues fits perfectly into that. It can be bleak and funny at the same time. I do like that. That's why shit's called Dunkel and Floaty Lockbottom. So it's like that, and I think in the Imperials, progression would be a caste or nobility system. For certainly, Free House would be very egalitarian, because they're the common people basically. So they don't get to be a lot higher than a trading house master. So they're like bourgeois. They can't. That's their cap. And then what else do we have? The Monsters. I think that would be also, because that's like a more, I don't want to say communist, an egalitarian meritocracy, because it's like a monastic order. You come in and then you lose your standing you had in the real world, and you start as a neophyte or whatever, and work your way up based on seniority. So I think you can have a game where, depending on each technocracy, yeah, sure. We're rising up from war rider to a house leader, yeah. But I think it's also mentioned in the lore bits in the Falconeer that even an Imperial freelancer, that is a noble function, because there's not that many Falconeers. So then you're a lesser son of a noble house. So you can rise up from that, but I don't think you can rise up from the house servant up to house leader. It happened for truly violent people in the history, but it's in the history of our world. But it's incredibly rare for someone to rise up from the lowest level to the highest level, except through sheer brutal violence and revolution. But even that, statistically, is not that common, I think. Not a historian, but that feels like that. All right. Wow, that's the first live stream. Do we have more questions? There's 30 people watching. It's amazing. I was actually going to talk about indie development and how to survive in the market, but I might, should be scheduling this shit. What's the favorite part of the Falconeer universe? I think the Warbirds is definitely my favorite part still. And everything's unplanned with me. I don't plan shit. I think for me it's that I think the best thing that in the Falconeer, and it's not as present in Bulwark, which is a more cerebral type game. I thought about it, but Falconeer is all emotional. Is that it's a game where about people? Because I think a mistake. It's a game about people wanting to escape and fly away to somewhere incredibly beautiful, up into the sky on the back of a giant bird. It's very aspirational, but then you can't, because life is fucked, and you get torn down. I think that's the core message from the Falconeer. It's incredibly beautiful, but it's also incredibly violent, and you always have to go down to the water to fix shit. I think that's everybody feels like that. It's a universal emotion where you want to get out of something and you can't because it's gonna be a mess. So you feel stuck and you want to escape. I think what we often do as creators is when you create something as an artist or whatever you want, you make something that's very personal. It becomes your emotional vomit. How do you call it? It becomes your get to that question, but it becomes your personal. How do you call it? Idée fixe in French. So that's why there's games about depression or your identity or whatever. And I think that is a fallacy in games as art, because it's also the emotion of the player, and you can't transplant the player completely into yourself, and vice versa. So when you make something that's super personal, a player will reject because they can't connect. They don't have the same emotions. That's why games about depression don't work often. Well, unless you find the bits of the topic you're talking about as a creator that are universal. And I think with the Falconeer, I found that wanting to escape and fly away is a universal emotion. So we can have a game about how you feel with underlying emotional, how do you call it, topics, but the core connection is universal. I think that's what I did right. I'm really proud of that. If you want to when you make the next game for the trilogy, would you also? I wanted to do Underwater for Bulwark, so that's why the Bulwark, the freebooter stuff is so delayed, and I haven't figured out how to do it. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I wanted to do. Well, can you imagine you're building in Bulwark, and then you start to build underwater a little bit if you're the freebooters, and you could move the camera underneath the plane of the water, and you'd have this underwater view. I think that'd be super fucking cool. The problem is technically I designed myself in a corner where I have to rip out entire parts of Bulwark to make that happen. Most specifically, the idea of these sandbanks or these shallows where you can build, and then you have deep water. That's a fake texture effect. That's now integrated everything in the pathing of ships, in how it's all over the place. And that, of course, doesn't work if the camera goes around and then it's a fake effect. There needs to be actual sandbanks, and that doesn't work with the geometry of the world that's there. So that is a pretty massive design corner I've put myself in, and then so I couldn't do the underwater stuff, which is a shame. So I am definitely fascinated with the underwater stuff. Definitely want to add a few more sea monsters and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's a topic I'll revisit, because underwater stuff, there's never enough underwater stuff in games, because it's amazing. I want to, I still have those little wreck diving animations for the Falconeer. I might reuse that at some point. I don't know, but it is something that's on my mind. But like I said, I have more ideas that I can execute, and sometimes I have to take a little break. I also want to go well to end it up. So I hope that's an answer to your question. Go back to the beginning. To that some one of you said, "Oh, I'd love to go back to replay the Falconeer in Bulwark." I think that's, like I said, it might not happen. Maybe perhaps just as an experiment. But I can take all the art improvements I've done for Wolfpack and put them back in the Falconeer. So I am thinking about, when I have the time and Bulwark is more or less done, or in a good state or calm, is to take all the art assets from Bulwark and that includes the much improved cities, the improved water because the water is much better than in Falconeer. Improved ships. The ships look better in Bulwark. And put that in a special edition of the Falconeer and the new faces, of course. And I have like a special edition. It's financially suicide to do it because it's a lot of work and but it'll be cool. More weather events, rogue waves. Yes, well, you might have noticed I've increased the waves in the when there's no storm. The game now has is a lot choppier. How do you call it? The oceans are just wilder in the recent updates as a default. So the storms are a little wilder still. So I've been working on improving that. I like the idea where you can have a storm that damages some of your areas. And how would you protect that? I don't know. By working with stone ramparts or something. It will be very SimCity-ish. Yeah, definitely. It'd be fun to do, but I need to find the time and energy. So I don't know. There's at the moment. So the next update, every update is vital for Bulwark because it's in that range where it's some people call it a hit, but I call it's at the bottom category of what you would call a good Steam success. So it needs to move up to over 1,000 user reviews for it to have sustainability, and we're not there yet. So it's at 800 now, but it's going really slow. So the next update again is vital. See if we can add enough that people come back in. So if it doesn't reach that, at some point I have to make a new game just from financial necessity. I like that. Technically, yeah, you could mention it happened that the mall breaking down and the water coming in and then everything. Sea level drops are possible, I think. They would be possible. Because all the geometry for below it exists. I haven't thought about it, so I'll have to suggest that. I don't know. I have no idea. It's a cool idea. I can see it happening. I don't know if I'll do. I have no guarantees on this stuff. Okay, so we're coming up with the hour. I think this is a rough start, but pretty fun live streaming. I think I don't know. I don't want to be pirate software, but that's okay. It's in the morning. I have to go to the gym anyway. Well, thanks everybody. This was kind of fun. Really fun. I'll schedule something else and talk about indie dev stuff. I think that's how it works. You schedule a live stream, and then we'll see if we can get a few more people in. And I'm going to close it off. So thanks everybody. Don't forget to leave a user review because Steam makes me do that. I'm going to sign off. Bye. Hetzelfde. Bye bye.